are some truly tiny flowers here. Look at that little beauty. How cute is that? The sun is out and we're going for a walk. It's late springtime in Copenhagen, and there are a lot of daisies right here. We're actually at a cemetery. It's called the Bispebjerg Cemetery, and if you've heard of it before, you probably heard of what's right there. It's the cherry blossom avenue, and the cherry blossoms are now gone, along with it the many people that come and visit during that time. And if you're thinking, but where are the graves are in different sections, and then some are laid down right here. But the reason why I enjoy going for walks here so much is because really it just feels like a park. Or like even maybe just better than the park, because there's just so many amazing natural sights. Like look at this giant tree. I don't know if you can really tell, it's really big. Let me show you. You see the bark, you know how bark, we know bark, but this tree is so giant that the bark is giant too. Look at that. How nice is that? Just awesomely big. Anyway, today we're going for a walk here, and I want to try and introduce you to some of my bird friends, but I don't know if they'll show up. Actually, I can see one of them. Don't look at that. One of them got attacked. It looks like probably a young one, but I won't subject you to that. Anyway, here's one. Oh, that was quick. Okay, so what I'm trying to get at is that this tree, the one right here, is one of two trees, I guess, two main trees that I will regularly leave nuts at. And when I'm here at the cemetery, I always have peanuts with me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place the peanuts on some of these branches, and then depending on how brave the birds are feeling, sometimes they'll come down like right away while I'm still here. But whoops, never mind. But I haven't been going here as often as I used to. I used to come here pretty much almost every day, but I've had some trouble with my knee, and I can't walk too much without getting pains, and it's a whole thing. I'm not gonna bore you with all the details, but basically I'm trying to not walk too much, hoping that it will get better soon. And it is slightly better, so there's still hope. So anyway, what I'm doing here is that I'm placing the peanuts at different spots. And what I've found is that especially the magpies, they seem to quite enjoy the game of finding them. And I'll put them like this, often in like the fork of branches, but also just wherever I see fit. And like I'm placing them now, I'll place, fresh one, hang on. I'll place quite a few of them all over, and whenever I come back here, they're always all gone. So that's telling me that they're finding them all. And if you didn't know, magpies are really, really clever birds. Very intelligent. And they like playing. Oh, I'm dropping so many nuts, but that's okay. So they like challenges, and I think they find this little game quite fun. And there's also a lot of hooded crows around here, and they might be some of the ones taking them as well. And there are also red squirrels around here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're eating some of them as well. So now there's quite a few nuts placed everywhere, and because I haven't been coming here as often, I think it might take a while before they notice it. It feels like when I come here more often, they're more like watching out for me and ready to come grab nuts wherever I put them. So I'm not gonna wait around. I'm sure we'll bump into some others. Oh, in fact, what is this? Over here, we have magpies hanging out. Anyway, I have like this little route I'm used to going, and I think what happens is that they recognize me and they learn the route I'm going, so they kind of see me and they'll go to the point where they know I'm gonna give them nuts. But maybe I'll just try and throw a few. See if they want to come over. No. There's also a noise behind me in the tree. I don't know if there was a squirrel. I can't see any. But these birds definitely don't seem all that into it. Oh, hang on, here's one. No. Not sure what's going on. They're kind of starting to fly over here, but then they kind of regretted it, I guess. So either they're hearing something that alarms them, or they can't remember me, or I don't know. The thing with bird brains is that because they're really, really smart on one hand, but the way the fabric of a bird brain is quite, I'm struggling for the right words. Basically, the way I've had it described is that they can learn a lot, know a lot, but they don't remember for that long. It's kind of like they have, I don't know, I'm liking the words to describe it. Kind of like they have a lot of RAM, they're quite fast, but then they don't have a lot of storage. So they have to conserve their space, and they kind of clear out every so often. And now we're stopping here because there's more tiny flowers. I really have a thing for these tiny flowers. When I was a kid, I had a dollhouse, and I didn't like dolls at all. In fact, I cut off all their hairs whenever my grandmother would give me some. But I really liked to decorate it. I would even make my own furnitures, and I would go and pick tiny flowers like these and do tiny little bouquets. And I guess whenever I see tiny flowers now, I still kind of want to do that. But I don't have that dollhouse now, so I just admire them. We're moving to another section of the cemetery where there's more trees. It feels a little bit more like a woodland area. and I'm headed to another tree where I often feed the birds. But this tree, it's really tall, so I don't put the nuts in the branches, but usually a couple of hooded crows know that I like coming there, and they'll be hanging around in the area, and if they spot me, they'll come over. Now there's people. Oh, people. So I might be quiet for a moment. Okay, so this is the tree. It's another nice big tree. It's not quite as huge as the other one, but it's still pretty big. And the leaves are just starting to come out. We're in early May here, so spring has finally gotten going properly. And it's so nice because the winter here is long and dark, very gray. So I'm not seeing any crows. Oh, that was a pigeon. The pigeons and I aren't friends. Like we're not at war or anything, but it's the magpies and the crows that I feed. I'm sorry to say, but I'm kind of a bird racist. I don't like the pigeons. And I feel kind of bad about that. I feel like I should like them more. Oh, let's do a bark check on the tree. So you remember what it looked like on the other tree? It's a very different story here. It's also just very different bark. Here there's not many ridges. It's kind of more like this. It's more like waves. It's pretty nice. But they're not as deep. The ridges aren't as deep as the other type of tree. This is some sort of an oak tree, but the leaves have like these pointed edges. I just remember that there's acorns around some parts of the year. See, here's the leftovers from an acorn. So I know it's some sort of an oak tree, but not sure what this specific kind is called. So this is the spot where I'll normally have some crows stopping by. But like I said, I haven't been here lately, so they probably gave up on me and stopped checking up on me. I really wonder what the sound is gonna be like on this. I'm just sort of holding my phone out. Oh, how pretty is this? So I hope the sound is okay. I might need to do this with a microphone. I mean, this might just be terrible all in all. I'm just kind of trying to find a nice format for doing longer videos, because I really enjoy doing the shorter videos. And I want to do a long form format to complement it, something quite calm and nice. But oh, look at this. But this idea of doing it one take, maybe it's too ambitious. So you can hear some pigeons fighting in the background, or fucking something. In Danish, these are called syrener. These are just starting to open. Other places you'll see a lot of them. I can't remember the English name for them, but they have a really gorgeous smell, and you can make all kinds of, oh sorry, that's all blurry, and you can make like these nice drinks, like cordial, I think you call it. I've done that sometimes. Oh, here's another thing I wanted to show you. So I have a friend I sometimes go for walks with here, and she got really excited about these wells, thinking they were really like ancient, and she was really disappointed when she realized they're just really simple concrete ones. I think they just tried to do the design in a nice way that fit in this really historical place. So it's kind of like a fake well. Really, it's just for having holes so people that visit the graves can get water. So you'll see these watering cans, do you call them that? You'll see them all around, and then you can fill them up and go take care of the graves. And you can see here, there's a few more graves here. I'm not gonna be going too close to that because I want to respect everyone's privacy. It's a really nice warm day. In Denmark, it doesn't take all that much before we feel like it's very warm. So today it's 17 degrees Celsius. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit, but I'm just wearing a thin sweater. Oh, put something on it. And jeans. And for me, that's quite exotic, not having to wear a jacket. So right now, we're in this quite open area. And if you go that way, you get down to this bog area where I also like going for walks. And then if you turn right around, whoops, this is where they used to cremate. And nowadays there's a really big modern one at a different spot in the cemetery. But this one is still here. I don't know what they used it for now, but it's a very pretty building. And there's kind of like, I don't know if you can make it out, but there's sort of like a sister one over there. So it's like one place for cremation here, and a really nice avenue with really big fir trees. And then there's another one just like it, just mirrored. Now we're gonna go down this part because I want to take you to another tree. Actually, the first tree that I started. Oh, I see a crow. Can you see him? We're going to the first tree. Oh, he's coming. Hello. Hi. Let's see if he wants some nuts. He looks like he might know who I am. Oh, and he's got a friend. Yeah, I was trying to tell you we're going to a tree where I like to leave nuts for birds, but it looks like they're meeting us here. Yeah, he's coming. It might also be reacting to the camera because I don't normally hold it out like this. Hi. Yeah, they're okay. Sudden. Yeah. Oh, it's pretty brave, this one. Hello. So what I'm doing now is I'm probably throwing too many nuts. And if you're throwing quite a few nuts, what they'll do is usually they'll store them all in their beak. And once they're filled up, they'll fly off. Oh no, he's eating that one. He or she. So actually it's better to just feed them a few, because then they're more likely to want to stick around and eat it, rather than giving a lot and they'll just pick them all up and fly off. Hi. So I've been feeding crows here at the cemetery for, I forget how long. I think it's only been 2 years, year and a half, but it feels like longer. See, there's another one coming over here. This might be his mate or its friend. Crows are really social animals. Okay, so someone is coming with a pram, and I'm gonna be in their way, and I don't want to film people that don't want to be filmed, so I'm just gonna throw these off here, maybe a little bit more. And we're gonna go off to the side. Leave them with the nuts and not disturb the guy with the baby. So this is a really nice part of the cemetery. There's more big trees like this one over here. It's very pretty when it's all green. Look at that. So huge. Like just the mass of it. It's funny as well because when there used to be more trees around, there would obviously be more of them close together. So I guess they would never really get to grow this way. I don't know, I'm just kind of making this up. I'm not sure if this isn't #science, but yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about that, because if this was in a forest, it could still grow tall, but it would have to make space for the other trees. So I don't think it would fold out this way. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're also meant to grow like this. So I'm just gonna turn around and see if the crows are still here. Yep, still around. Oh, both of them. The other one is over here. See this one here? Another one here. So let's see if they want some more nuts. Hi. No, I don't know if you can see, but it has its beak full. See? I don't know if you can tell. There's like a lot of nuts. It can't carry anymore. Maybe the other one is coming over. No, I think the other one is too shy. And that's okay. Okay, let's. It's probably gonna come once I've walked away. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just turn my head away, and I'll be enough to make them braver. But anyway, this is really pretty, so we might as well enjoy this. You see that? It's all petals. So pretty. Okay, a little sticky, a little yucky, but very pretty. Very, very pretty. And they're all coming from this tree right here. So gorgeous. I'm actually not sure what type of tree this is. This time of year you'll see a lot of cherry trees, and this might be one as well, but it definitely, oh, I can just about reach, definitely looks a lot different. They're kind of bunched up, and yeah, it's really falling off right now. It's very pretty. I'm really wondering what the camera work is like. I have a feeling I'm probably moving around too quickly, because I really want to do a very chill video for you. And something like just enjoying this seems important. Oh man, you can't really tell on the camera, or maybe you can now, but this tree over here that I was talking about before, the green on it is just magnificent. It's so bright. There's so many leaves. Such a pretty sight. Okay, so Anyway, we were on a mission. We're headed to it's actually the original tree where I started feeding birds at. Is if you continue down here quite a bit and then up on the left side. And there's two main types of birds here that I feed. One is magpies that you saw in the distance earlier, and one is hooded crows. And let me just show you. This cemetery is absolutely filled with these gorgeous avenues everywhere with trees lining them. It's very pretty. That one over there is one of my favorite parts. I'll show you another time. So yeah, there's magpies and there's hooded crows. Hooded crows are the ones that I was just feeding. And then the third type, I haven't looked at the English word for it, but it's basically magpies we call skovskade, which means, no, magpie means buskade. Now I'm also forgetting my Danish. Basically, I'm trying to say we have two types of magpies. That's the important bit. And one type is usually based in the city and one type is more based in the forest. And I'm getting distracted here. In case you haven't realized, I have ADHD. So whenever I see something nice, I want to show you right away because that's how it normally works. Basically, I'm trying to take you along on my own little walks and trying to show like what an adventure it is for me going on these walks. And here's some really nice mushrooms. But I'm sorry because it means cutting off my story all the time. Yeah, like I said, this format is an experiment. Also, look at these blue dots. When they first appeared, I was really scared. It meant that the tree was going to be cut down. And they might still mean that, but they haven't done it yet. And it's been quite a while. So, I guess we're waiting to see what happens. It's another one of those really big trees with really nice bark. It's very pretty, especially in the springtime. And we're at a very nice section of the cemetery right now. This here is the Swedish part of the cemetery. So in this little part of it, it's all birch trees because that's a very Swedish tree. So it's for, you see how they phrase it here. It says in Swedish. I'm not gonna try and say it in Swedish because I'm not good at Swedish. We see the flowers are meant to be yellow and blue to symbolize the Swedish flag, and it basically says here lie the Swedish people that have found their home in Denmark. So I thought that's very cute. And vila, lie, it actually more means rest. So the Swedish people that found their home in Denmark have been laid to rest here among the birch trees. It's very peaceful. Okay. You can sit here and hang out with them if you want. So, getting back at it, we're still headed down here to the side to get to the tree where I first started putting down nuts because I wanted to meet the other type of magpies, which is the forest type. So they're called skovskade, and I'm not sure what you call them in English, but the city type of the magpies, they're basically black and white with some very nice bluey greeny shines on some of them, parts of some of the feathers. And I have to walk fast to not run into people coming the other way. So the forest type are more kind of brown. You can tell the shape is similar, but they're much more in camouflage, but then they have this really beautiful thing, which is that on the side of their wings, they'll have just this little tiny bit of them where there are bright blue feathers that are, they're only about, the feathers are like this big, and they're striped with super bright blue and black, and just tiny little stripes right after each other. So it's a mainly camouflaged bird, and then they'll have those, and it's just really nice. So focus. This tree, there's people behind me. This tree is the one where I started leaving them nuts, and it was working really well. At one point I was even standing like right there when the bird would come down and eat right in front of me, which is really crazy because they're super shy, much more shy than the other birds. But then the other magpies and the crows noticed me coming here, and they started coming here as well, and that scared off the forest types. So I'm trying to build it back up while also feeling a little paranoid about being followed by the other types. And I mean, how are they to know? The rest of the time I want them to follow me. So humans and our silly ideas. But before we go and put nuts in the tree, I just want to show you this tree right here. It's well, I'm not sure if it's called that in English, but if you translate it directly, it's called a Tibetan cherry tree. And it's from 2003, so it's 21 years old, and it was chosen by Thomas S. Johansen. So there was an anniversary for the cemetery this year, and around the cemetery you'll see quite a few trees that were selected by the public and planted to honor that. And this one has the most amazing bark. Like, look at that. It's so shiny. I don't know if you can even tell just how nice and shiny it is on the camera. I think it's reflecting it okay. But then another thing of it is that, look at this, the way that these come off, it's just really magical. Like, look at that. Look at that. I don't know if you can tell. Maybe here you can see it a little bit better. It's kind of full of spiders. So, and I'm scared of spiders. But anyway, you can see all of this bark coming off. It's so pretty. I really like this tree. And you can see there's a spider web. Yeah. Probably my favorite bark of any tree in this really big cemetery. The leaves aren't anything spectacular, and the flower is already done. Ooh, and just now, did you see that? Birds flew into the tree, the one where I've put nuts for the forest magpies, and I didn't get a proper look at them, but it could be forest magpies. Let's see if we can spot them. Oh, I see one up here. Hi, it's one of them. There, can you see it? So you can even see on its wing, just down the corner, hope you can make it out, there's the blue and black striped feathers. It's probably not liking me filming like this. So it might just fly away when I go and put the nuts. I don't know. I hope I don't scare it off. So I have the nuts, and I'm gonna approach it really carefully. Oh, here it goes. Yeah, it's perfect if it's just over there. Can you see it? Just up here. Oh, you can see the blue feathers so nicely there. You can see the tail is quite similar to the other magpies, but the rest of it is brown. So pretty. Okay, so some nuts over here. So what I do is I always put them in some of the same locations and then also a few new ones, because I figure it will keep it interesting for them. And like I said, magpies are very smart birds. Here and here. I'm not doing well. I'm also a little bit too excited because we just saw the bird. And in the beginning, all I did was just lie them here. I would just put a bunch there whenever I passed by, and I didn't stick around or anything. I just put them there, and then I always noticed they got eaten. So I figured something was eating it, but I didn't know what. And then it started happening that when I came here, I would see the forest magpies. Here. And they kind of started trusting me slowly as time went by. And as I mentioned before, they would get closer and closer. So I'm worried about it because I haven't been going here for a while. Oh, I'm dropping so many. That's okay. Someone else will find them down there. So I haven't been going here as often as I used to. So I kind of get scared that the birds will forget about me. Because what I told you earlier about my memory not being best. And if anyone knows more about bird memory than me, please do enlighten me, because I would like to understand this better. Because I don't know, that one, I kind of felt like it knew me, but maybe I just want to feel like it knows me. So this is the last branch. You see the nut I put there earlier? Put some here. Oh, going down. Oh, I am being such a nut placing amateur, which I guess is fair because it is a hobby after all. Okay, there we go. So I don't know if the bird is still over in that neighboring tree watching us. I can't see it. But I've placed nuts all around here now. And I think they might have a nest up there. I don't know if you can tell. There. Pretty sure that's a nest. So they might not be hanging out for my sake, hoping I'm coming by. They might just be trying to raise their little chicks. And I'm just being a nuisance maybe. So what I normally do is I just back up and then I'll just hang around for a little while and see if they come back. I'm not seeing any activity. And it's sort of one thing hanging out, just looking at a tree on your own. It's pretty weird. But standing around filming a tree with nothing happening for you to see is maybe not the most exciting. So I think we should just decide to be excited about the fact that the birds showed up when we first got here. There's a different type of bird here. See if I can point here. It's a little black bird. I don't normally feed them or interact with them for no particular reason. Okay. This video is already 40 minutes long, and it might be the most boring video I've made to date, but I have this idea that this might work. I don't know. I just know that the short videos I do work, and what I try to do in those is to capture all the little beautiful moments that I see. And I want to try and do long form that has a similar vibe and caters to the same audience, while also still being interesting and fun for me to do, without making it too much work, too hard on myself. So I've been experimenting with a few different ways of doing that. Look at this gorgeous yellow. So that's what we're doing here. Maybe this is a good time to end it with an anticlimax, as no birds show up. And I think I'm gonna go to a spot where I usually hang out with the crows. It's over here, that way, and I'll take you along with me some other time. But today, I think I've had enough of holding on to this little phone in front of me, and I've enjoyed taking you along with me, but I think it's time to say goodbye. And if you're someone watching this to fall asleep, I hope you're already asleep, and I hope you have some sweet dreams. Goodbye.